Whether you're first starting out or moving into a new niche, finding clients can be really difficult. Eventually you want to get to the point where you have enough referrals as something that you don't really have to think about. But until then, you may be finding yourself sending emails and DMs with no response. I say this because I spent hours trying and testing so many different things, but I'm grateful that I've gotten to the point where I'm able to do videography full time. What I personally found to be one of the trickiest periods though was when I had to actively search for new clients when I was first starting out or looking at a new niche. Today I'll be sharing a little secret that helped me fast track through this and hopefully how you can apply it to your situation as well. I just want to preempt this in saying that a lot of the videos you might watch related to this will talk about 1, building your portfolio, and 2, how you actually make first contact, whether that be through email, a call, or even networking. Both of those are key, and if you're having some trouble building a portfolio, definitely watch some of those videos as well, as this is really important. But what I'll be touching on today is something actually in between. We'll be looking at how you can use Facebook so that by the time you do reach out, you have a lot of the information you already need. So an area that I found to be really useful is this one here. It basically shows all the ads a business is currently marketing, and it can be really useful to have that insight to see what they're currently targeting, what it might be in the future that they're targeting, and also some of the things that they have and currently are using, whether it be photos, videos, or just copywriting in terms of how they present themselves. So you can already anticipate the kind of message you would send them if you're going to outreach, and also see if they would be a good fit for you. But how do we actually find this information? Because it is a bit hidden away. What we do is go onto their Facebook page, scroll down towards the bottom, close to where it says page transparency, press see all, scroll down again and go to ad library. And now we're at the same place where we were before. But just here I want to show that we can use this for a number of different niches, and you don't necessarily need to have something in mind already. So I just typed in something very generic like fashion label Melbourne. She's one of the top 3 in the local searches, Alpha 60, which looks like it's on Flinders Lane here in Melbourne. Found their Facebook page, page transparency like before, go to ad library, and we're back here and we can see all their ads just as well. So sticking to this page, if for example you wanted to get into the fashion niche or get in contact with this specific label, what are some of the things that we can look out for instead of just handing out a business card or sending a DM or something with not much context? Well, quickly looking at it, we can see that they're really trying to highlight their winter sale. A lot of their stuff is 50% off. But more specifically, we can see here that they're trying to promote one of their tote bags, and scrolling further down, they've got a lot of scarves, something that we can really highlight and pitch if we were to outreach to them as well. So already there we have like 2 or 3 things that we can pitch and talk about, problems we might be able to solve. And looking at this example again, a lot of this is photos, animation, one with animations in a collage and a carousel with photos as well. So there is opportunity there to talk about video specifically, and it works the other way as well. If for example you're a photographer and you can see that a lot of the stuff they do is just video. So if we use that same idea for the real estate agent, what we can see here is that they have a couple of listing ads. So one with just copywriting, another similar, but it has a carousel of photos as well. And with what I was saying before, you may be thinking, okay, they don't have video ads. Maybe that's an area that I can potentially help them out with. Well, I suggest that you also dig in a bit deeper as well, because if you click into this one, which I've already opened, what you can see is that yes, they have their photos there, but if you scroll down past their copywriting, they actually have their video there as well. So you just need to make sure that you check everything. And for the real estate one, for example, a lot of the times when they put the listings, that's actually the final piece. Most of everything in terms of the copy, photos, and videos is pretty much going to be there. So it's just one thing, depending on the niche, they all have their own specific traits and differences. So just to get a clearer picture, these are some of the things that I look out for when I see all those ads and I'm like, I don't know where to start. And so for example, we spoke about the fashion one in terms of general or common marketing, in that they have those seasonal sales, and specific in terms of the tote bags and the scarves. But then the third one here outside of the box, what do I exactly mean by that? And what I mean by that is if we look at the real estate one again, I think naturally the first thing that comes to mind are property listings when you think about this specific niche. And as we've seen, they do actually already have this, but scrolling down a bit further, we can see that they're also trying to promote one of their directors. They've got some photos, actually a testimonial video here as well. And now we have other things that we might approach them with, like testimonial videos for other directors or real estate agents, maybe even auction videos for this specific realtor. Because if you have a listing, a lot of the time you'll be having auctions as well. And funnily enough, something that I personally haven't seen before, this real estate agency has a concierge service as well that they're trying to promote. So it's something that you can also approach. So just what I'm trying to hit on is if you really go through these ads, you can actually see a lot of other opportunities outside of what you would naturally think is related to a particular niche. So going back to the very basic mind map, what do I mean by future potential? What I mean by this is, let's say it's the fashion one again. We've seen that they've got a winter sale. We've seen some of the scarves and tote bags. And now that we go onto their social pages, we find out that, yeah, they actually already do have videos. What we can do now, if it's Instagram, for example, which is a lot more casual, say something like, "Hi Sarah," or whoever's name it is, "just came across your winter collection content. Really dig some of the scarves you guys are putting out as well. I can see that you guys have videos already, but I'd love to help out if you ever needed a hand in the future. I'll leave a couple of my most recent stuff below, but if you already have a primary videographer, that's totally cool as well. Thanks heaps." Obviously, you'd personalize that to the tone that resonates more with you, but it's more like a general structure. So by already anticipating that it's highly unlikely that they won't need content for a problem that you've already researched, at least you've opened some doors instead of getting a flat out no. Because if they've said no to something right after your first message, there's really little room to move forward, especially if you want to work with them in the future. And secondly, you may have noticed that I didn't include anything in terms of pricing, because if you've already personalized your message and have a generally strong portfolio, it doesn't have to be overly crazy, then they're already going to assume that and bring it up down the line themselves. And more importantly, you don't want to go too hard with your first message. You just want to keep it short, sweet, and low pressured. And lastly, if you don't have a portfolio at all, obviously try and build it up, but you can still use this message or framework to get your first couple of portfolio clients, but just leave out the last bit about your most recent work. Lastly, with Roblox, I'm not going to go into it too much because you can make a list of like 1,000 things, but the more things that you start to anticipate, the more familiar you are within a niche. So for example, the real estate agency that we looked at, it may not even be the best example because it's one of the biggest real estate agencies in Melbourne. Even if they're like mid-tier, a lot of the times they've already got their own in-house team or they're working with a marketing agency already. The fact that they're so large with a lot of branches and franchises as well means there's going to be a lot more red tape and a lot more decision makers. It's not just going to be the marketing person of the branch, it's going to be the real estate agent as well who needs to like your work. So by doing your due diligence and knowing these things beforehand, you may instead pivot to a firm that's a bit smaller, or maybe a private real estate agency that has 1 or 2 realtors in it. And again, all of this doesn't just relate to real estate agencies or fashion. If you think about the overarching ideas, then you can apply this to any niche. And with these roadblocks, they're important to learn them quickly so you don't waste your time sending out messages where you don't get any responses. So yeah, just wrapping it up, that is everything. And funnily enough, I got my Sony FX3 last week. So this video was actually going to be a comparison between the FX3 and the 7S3 that I'm shooting on now. But I thought about it and just wanted to make my first video something that would hopefully help a wider net of people. To be 100% honest, I don't know exactly the direction that I want to take this channel, but it'll definitely be things that I wish I knew moving up as a video freelancer to hopefully help you guys, and also just my journey moving forward as well. In saying that, if you want to hit the subscribe button, I'd love for you guys to be part of the journey as well. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.